is from the Charlotte Dobre subreddit. My mother in law hates me and blames me for her anxiety attacks. We have a main post and we have one update post. Not sure if it all fit in one. Mother in law from hell. I'm 20 female, have known my husband, 20 male, for 4 years. We dated for 2.5 years, then got engaged in November of 2024. During the time that we were dating, my dad kicked me out of the house because I was going to visit my boyfriend when my dad said he forbade it. So I had nowhere to go except my boyfriend's house. His parents were welcoming at first, but I only ended up staying there for a month and a half due to what played out. The first day staying at my boyfriend's house, we all sat down and discussed the family rules, weekend chores, cleaning up after ourselves, just basics on how their house operated. I offered to pay them rent for the time that I would be staying with them, but they refused, saying it wasn't necessary. After being kicked out, it was super hard, and I don't remember a night I didn't cry myself to sleep. I made sure to tell his parents thank you for all they were doing by taking me in. I cleaned up after myself and kept to myself most of the time. My boyfriend was a full-time college student at the time, freshman, and working on weekends. I was working full-time, 40 or more hours a week. We were both gone most of the week and came home around 10 p.m. at night, sometimes later. Him and I both had no idea what was to come in the later weeks after I moved in. One night, I came home from work at around 10 and walked into his entire family sitting on the couch in the living room, which was abnormal because they always went to bed at 9 at the latest. We all ended up having a long discussion till after 1 a.m., where I was told I was not doing enough around the house and seeming ungrateful, and that I was never home. For the next week, I tried to make more of an effort to seem more grateful by asking if they needed help on my days off. They'd say no each time, consistently. I would sometimes work close to 50 hours a week, just pouring myself into work because I didn't want to think about my situation and get emotional. I really didn't want his parents to think I was ungrateful, so I made as much of an effort as I could and even offered to pay rent again a few times. Again, they said no. The weeks following, we had about 5 more sit-down talks with his entire family, resulting in waterworks from his mother and accusations saying I was ungrateful and didn't appreciate what they were doing for me. His dad said nothing each time we'd have a talk. I assured them that I did and tried to speak on my behalf, as so did my boyfriend. But all that resulted is more tears from his mom. She would say things like, your siblings are hurt because you and your girlfriend don't even spend any time at the house except to sleep. And you're hurting your family because y'all only care about each other. My boyfriend and I were so confused and had no idea where this was coming from, because the only reason we were never home was because we were both at school and work. If we ever had days off, he would stay at school to study or pick up a shift, and I would meet up with my mom, who had no say in me being kicked out of my own home earlier. The final convo consisted of my boyfriend being fed up with all of these talks and told his mom to stop emotionally manipulating both of us and to stop accusing his girlfriend of not appreciating their generosity. He told her straight up that we are both never home, and when we are, we want to get sleep because we have to be up for work and classes the next day. We aren't trying to avoid y'all or anything, and she's offered to help, she's offered to pay rent, and shown as much generosity as she can. I was and am so proud of him for sticking up for me, even when it came to his mother. What made it such an out of the blue thing was the fact that I had never had a problem with his mother until I stayed with them, which I realize now was never a good idea to begin with. Okay, then I'll just skip that part because you already know that. I moved out in the middle of October to a family friend's house. The parents had an extra room, and they were the best. I offered to pay them rent as well, but they said they would never take my money. They said I could stay for as long as a year, and once the year was up, they'd help me get settled into a more permanent place to stay if needed. Super understanding, no judgments or accusations that I was ungrateful from them. Honestly, the sweetest family ever. However, I only ended up staying with them until December because I had worked things out with my dad and moved back home with my family for the last month that I would be unmarried. This moves us to the proposal. My boyfriend and I talked about getting married before he moved to college about a year after we started dating in 23. We had known each other for 2 years at that point and had brought it up to my parents and his parents. Both sets of parents weren't totally on board, but they both said they would support us in whatever decision we made when the time came. The time was coming up as 2025 creeped closer. After I moved into my other friend's house, my boyfriend had to deal with some more talks from his mom. She would constantly berate me and him, saying I wasn't good enough for him and he needs to break up with me. This set my boyfriend off, and everything she would say just made him more against her, and he couldn't wait to move to college. November rolled around, and he had come to a decision to propose to me so we could get married before he left for college. His mom lost her mind when he told her, and his dad about the decision, and she tried so hard to dissuade him not to and just forget about me. She would ask him, "Why are you doing this to me? I didn't raise you this way. You're hurting my heart." A lot of emotional manipulation on her part, and I was there to remind my boyfriend over the phone each night that she was trying to manipulate him. He stayed strong and stuck to his proposal decision and ordered a ring in time for the proposal, which took place on the third week in November. It was small and sweet, and he had two of his friends hide in nearby bushes and take pictures. I, of course, said yes. He asked if I wanted to get married before he moved to college, and I asked if that was just to spite his mom. He told me no. But all that his mom was doing made him want to prove that he was strong enough to be an adult on his own. Once he told his parents that we were getting married on January 2nd of 25, they threatened to take away his scholarship that was through his dad's work, take away his car they bought him, and not give him any financial help when it came to college. Those threats made my fiancé more annoyed at his parents and more determined to do it on his own, no matter what help he had or didn't. Turns out they were empty threats once his parents realized that he wasn't going to not marry me because of what they said. In December, I planned the entire wedding, mostly on my own, except for the help from my mom and family friend. I was back at my parents' house, so it was easier to plan, and my dad and I were on good terms, so I had help from them in that respect. I asked my fiance if he wanted to have his mom be involved in the wedding plans at all, and he said he'd have to ask over text. When he did, she refused, saying she wouldn't be wanted. She said the same thing when I texted her asking if she wanted to come to my bridal shower on December 27th. I have to be honest and say that I wasn't disappointed when she said no to both offers. My wedding planning was stressful enough as it is, and she would have just made it more stressful based off of what she had been telling, threatening, and accusing her son of. I made my own invite to our wedding, and I got a lot of compliments on it, and our close friends and family all RSVP'd happily. When I sent his parents the invite, however, his mom sat her son down again and made a big deal about how the invite I sent them wasn't special and that it was the same one every other guest got. That's kind of how invitations go, ma'am. You don't have an individual made for each person that's completely different, not unless you're, Rockefeller rich. My fiance and I were flabbergasted and just fed up with her constant complaints at this point. What did she want us to do? Make her an invite that had her name in gold letters, inviting only her? I was over it after that. My fiance told her that she and the family could either come and support us or not come at all. He told her, the last thing my future wife needs is more stress from you. I just stayed out of the drama between him and his parents because I had a wedding to plan, and I didn't think it was my place to insert myself after what had already gone down a few months earlier. I knew she didn't like me and that she probably thought of me as the evil girl who took her baby boy away from her. She didn't like the fact that her son was choosing me over her. And she is still not over it to this day. I've come to the realization that she didn't like me then, and she still doesn't now. My fiance's parents also told him that they knew I was pregnant. Spoiler alert, no pregnancy. She says I wasn't and am not. That turned into a huge argument between him and his parents, and he stormed out because he said it wasn't worth it trying to prove I wasn't pregnant. They'll find out in 9 months. The wedding day came, and it honestly could have gone much worse.